Going that
Hello everybody. Hello and welcome everybody.
Here we go.
My name is Nick.
Who is that?
I am Mark's best man. He asked me a few weeks ago, he said, well, we're going to get married. It's going to happen. And can you stand up for me at my wedding? And I thought, do I always get drunk and fall over? And then I thought, he wants me to be the best man. It's what an honour. I'm very pleased to be here. And it's a great honour to be the best man for you, Mark, at your wedding. But first I'd like to thank, well, first of all, I'd like to say, wasn't that a great ceremony? I mean, the fact that it happened on board the boat, the boat that's been such a big feature in Mark's life and really brought you two together.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, Mark was on his knees, sort of cleaning the boat up when Stephanie walked up and introduced herself or came to see him. And why didn't you propose at that point, Mark? You said it was trouble. You're already on your knees.
I never do things in a hurry.
But I think it was a great ceremony. Stephanie, you look absolutely ravishing. And bridesmaids, what a fantastic job you all did. You all look wonderful. All matching in your capes. So, I think also I'd like to thank all the family for coming by. I mean, the fact that Stephanie's mother came from Montana, right?
Yeah.
And brother, you came from DC. You travelled all this way. That's a wonderful thing that you were here for this day. So thank you all for coming, and thank everybody for coming. The fact that you've all come to be here makes this a very special occasion, and I know that Stephanie and Mark are really pleased to have you here. So, I said to Mark when he first said, I said, do we going to do speeches or anything? And Mark said, just keep it simple, we just keep it low key, we just have a few drinks. And I thought, okay, great, it makes it easy, right? And then I thought, Mark was telling me that this was going to be, just a few drinks, a few friends. And I thought, like all weddings, it's going to escalate. It's going to get bigger and things are going to happen. And I bet, and this was last night, I woke up and I went, I better get a speech together. Otherwise this is going to look terrible. So, fortunately,
This could be a while.
excuse me for every time, but if I don't do this, I'll make a complete mess of it.
You might need some lighting, Nick.
Here's the dim lighting.
Off the stage, I want to be lighting.
The problem of getting these two to this day stems from when Mark was asked by his high school careers officer at school in New Zealand as to what was his chosen career. Mark replied, bachelor. Now this actually proved to be a wise choice because within a couple of years he was in London involved in the rock and roll business, and for the next 20 years travelled the world, was in a different city almost every night, and had absolutely nothing at home to call back and check up. It was the perfect lifestyle for a career in bachelorhoodism. And Mark rose to the top of his profession. But after 20 years or so, even as career committed as Mark was, he decided that setting up a permanent bachelor residence in California was the way to go, which would then allow him to pursue his chosen bachelor hobby, which would take up all of his spare time, namely a 10-year boat renovation project. So, when Mark meets Stephanie, he soon realizes that, unbeknown to him, this is the woman that he's been waiting for all his life. She's perfect. Right. Beautiful, intelligent, funny, caring. Seems also smitten with Mark. And most importantly, loves sailing. In fact, when he discovers that she can take the helm in a gale force wind while Mark has to wrestle with the mainsail while barking out orders like a drill sergeant in the Marines, she performs flawlessly and never sheds a tear. I have heard that, thinking your lives may in peril and trying to give Stephanie some encouragement. Mark did actually propose at this point, but you couldn't hear him over the noise of the wind. Now, an English upbringing back in the 50s and 60s still treated emotions as something that our French and Italian neighbours seemed strangely fond of. Not something that an Englishman needed to be concerned with. Stiff upper lip and polite indifference was always the best response, but many of us had learnt over the years that that wasn't going to cut it in the real world of Southern California. The rest of us English transplants, and there's a few of us here tonight, had gone through our rehabilitation in the 80s and 90s, much to the amusement of Mark. But once we saw 4 or 5 years ago that these two were actually moving in together and into his bachelor pad, I knew we had to step up and do some coaching, as Mark was entering into uncharted waters. And we didn't want him running aground. We'd all made some classic mistakes in the past, and in these same situations, and even at a younger age, it would take a monumental effort to recover. Right?
2 weddings.
Right. So we tried to make sure he understood that he shouldn't be fooled into thinking that a great idea for a Valentine's gift was a new sail bag for the spinnaker. That when he came home one night and found the comfortable and familiar bachelor pad transformed into a cozy and romantic home for a couple, and asked, "What do you think?" Without skipping a beat, he had to spontaneously reply, not "It's awful," but to strangle his sound so it came out, "It's awesome!" because it is, and you will so soon come to believe it.
Awesome or awful?
Without Stephanie's infinite patience, we couldn't have got through it. But early on, she recognised Mark's wonderful qualities of strength, loyalty, intelligence, and wit, and an overall great guy with a compassionate and great heart. So for years, we've been waiting for this day to come to fruition. And finally, a year or two ago, it seemed that it might happen. And then maybe not. And then it was definitely going to happen. And then it maybe not. And then the date was set. And then it was cancelled. And then we thought it really, was it really because of a double booking? Or is Mark just not able to make that career change? So we are all delighted and relieved to finally be here today to celebrate and be a part of this happy occasion. I have heard it said that a woman finds a man she loves for exactly who he is, and then spends her life trying to change him. So God bless you, Stephanie. And Mark, may you be as brilliantly successful in your new career as husband as you were in your old. So please, will everyone raise your glasses and join me in a toast to the bride and groom. May life's current always lead you to calm waters, and we wish you safe passage and favourable winds as you set course to this brave new world.
Awesome.